Hey Falcon Squadron, welcome back. We're going to be discussing the Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 7 today. We haven't really talked much about any of the other episodes in the season, but I thought the finale would be a good one. And then at the end, we can kind of give our overall perspective of the entire series.
That was fun last night, watching it.
A really good episode. I don't think I've been so, on the edge of my seat the entire time. From beginning to end, it was amazing.
It was just a lot of action, and there was a lot of jaw dropping.
Yeah.
I consistently found myself going, what? Just over and over again.
Yeah, I had so many happy tears. I cried, I think, at least 3 times.
You definitely cried several
pure
times.
Joy.
Yeah, but I was really excited about seeing everybody together because we saw a lot of everybody. So, unlike other episodes where we focused on just one person, we really got to see everybody working together, and it was pretty cool. It was Mandalorians.
It was really awesome seeing Boba and Mando just working in tandem together because it's not something we get to see often, if really ever. More maybe a couple times in The Mandalorian when the other Mandos would show up.
Yeah, but this time when they were together, towards the beginning of the episode after the place got blown up, then they try to negotiate a little bit, right, with the syndicate people. But everything goes to hell anyway, of course. And then they start fighting just the 2 Mandalorians against a bajillion other guys. Yeah. And it was like they were dancing together. Yeah. It was Mr. and Mrs. Smith, but Mandalorian style.
Yeah.
It was cool.
So the whole episode started off awesome. We got to see Cad again. Chapter 6, I was so excited. At the end, they brought freaking Cad Bane to live action. And we were talking about that at the end of when he showed up in Bad Batch. And it was oh my god, I'd love to see him in live action. And then we saw him, but
so cool.
He died.
Well, we don't know if he died. Star Wars is known for bringing people back from the dead a lot. So I at the very end, I was rooting for Mando.
Boba?
For Boba, yeah. And when he killed him, I was I let out a big gasp because it made me sad. Because I love Cad. But when the camera kind of zooms out of him, you kind of hear his air things that he has on his face kind of make this sound, and then there's a little thing on his chest that's beeping, and it's still beeping. So
it is still beeping.
Maybe he didn't die. I feel like someone like Cad would have a plan B, a little safe button, come pick me up, his droid.
Built-in defibrillator.
Or something. Yeah, exactly. Plus, what's his droid gonna do without him?
Oh, man.
I love that little droid.
Yeah. But no, I loved right at the beginning, another one of those Western feels that Star Wars is so known for when Boba and Cad are out there and Connor came, guest star Connor. Cad came to try to negotiate for the Pikes with Boba and just flat out told him the Pike Syndicate killed the Tuskens, his family, and Boba was ready to just kill him right then and there.
He was gonna drop him
and
there.
And then Finnick is behind him, just being that voice of reason,
just a good angel on his shoulder.
Yeah, we need to do this on our terms.
Yeah.
And eventually he just says we're not going to negotiate. Tell him. But that was such a cool way to kind of start off that whole escalation to the war that was going to happen.
It was very intense, just them two, and it was kind of deserted.
Yeah.
And it was very, very Western film-like, and their hands were hovering on top of their
Cad's
their
always
holsters,
got that little thing going on.
And everybody's just kind of ready to react, but it was cool. Yeah. It was really cool to see. I hope that we do get Cad back. I hope he didn't die.
Yeah.
Because that would open a lot more doors to see him in other future lines of the universe. But if he did die, I mean, they can always bring back, Cad before that.
Yeah.
So, who knows?
Yeah, and then, shortly after that, we get an X-Wing, right?
Mm-hmm. I didn't realize it was an X-Wing at first, and then you were like, X-Wing, and I'm like, what?
And I was like, what's her name? That works at the mechanic.
I just looked it up.
Anyway, the mechanic is thinking because
Pela
is thinking it's like the authorities because they're around the rebel authorities and their X-wings, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, yeah. I'm like, that's Luke's X-wing. Like you saw an R2 back there, and I'm expecting Luke to show up. Like I was like, maybe he's bringing Grogu, maybe he's trying to help, and then like you see nobody in the cockpit, and like you're just sitting there in anticipation because you know what's about to happen.
Yeah.
And then Grogu, like, she peeks in and Grogu's in there.
He's like this big in the seat.
I was like mind blown. And then we see him wearing his shirt that Mando made for him. Yeah. That was the first moment I cried. Like,
I just was cute.
I know. I was so happy.
Yeah. He picked him. Grogu picked him. So in the last episode, at the end, Luke was going to give him the gift, Mando's gift to him, which was like a shirt, armor for a youngling. Made from Beskar, right?
Yeah.
And but instead of giving him that, he made him choose between the present or Yoda's lightsaber, which is awesome. And that was the last thing we knew. So we really didn't know. I mean, that was in a way a moment that is just like, oh, he's gonna pick him, but you still never know.
So, with Star Wars, I feel like you do never know. You can think you know, but you don't know.
Yeah. So it was really, really touching.
It was
to see that Grogu valued that connection with the Mandalorian so much that he gave up this training stuff. You know, maybe he wasn't really that into it because Luke was like, I don't think his heart's in it.
Yeah. Well, he has that bond with the Mandalorian.
Yeah,
with
it's very special to him. Just like one of those birds that just picks this person.
Well, yeah, he was like a father to him. I mean, he found him, he helped raise him, he protected him.
Yep.
But that was such an amazing moment, and we got to see the BD unit again, which was kind of cute there. But yeah, that was cool. And then
she brings him.
Yeah, she brings him. But before all that, like, the whole town turns on.
Yeah. So during this whole thing, like, Boba is expecting that the negotiations are still as usual, right?
But then they're expecting the free people, the town of free people, to come over.
Yeah. But little does he know, the guy got shot down by Cat in the previous episode, and everyone, and I guess he at that point just doesn't know if they're gonna come because the sheriff got shot, probably killed, as far as he knows. Well, but like he didn't know, right? So yeah, he's waiting on all this stuff, and then turns out the Syndicate broke the treaty that they had made. Yeah, and then we're seeing Boba's people, right? What's the Wookiee's name? We never remember.
Chrysanthemum?
Something like that.
Christopher. It's not Christoph.
Christopher the Wookiee. That's a very modern Wookiee. He's in one sector, you know, making sure, policing the area, and then we have the teenagers in another area.
The modifieds.
And then everybody, like the civilians, right, start turning on them, and then it's just all out war declaration.
Which was crazy because Boba had just sat down like with everybody and they agreed to like just stay out of it, and then all of a sudden it's everybody against Boba and his small crew, and they seem to be outnumbered.
Very outnumbered.
And then Finnick comes in on rooftops and like saves the modified crew and them that are out there.
Call them the youngsters.
The youngsters.
The youths.
The youths. And then, I mean, the war just starts. Like, it's just flat out starts. And then Boba and Mando are hanging out in, like, the ruins. And Boba's like, you should go.
Yeah.
And Mando's like, no, I made you a promise. This is the way.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is the way. This is the way. And he basically asks him, what do you want to do? We can make it to your ship, make it out to Slave 1 and get out of here? And Boba's like, no, these are my people. We're going to stay. And Mando's like, I'll stay with you until we breathe our last breath, which is crazy. And then one of the funniest moments is like in that moment, like everything's so tense and serious. And then the right hand to the mayor is
the
there.
advisor guy.
And he's like, excuse me, I may
if I may.
Wants to like...
He cracks me
Yeah,
up.
he's hysterical.
Uh-huh.
Wants to negotiate for Boba with the pike. So he's like, here, write down what you want. So Boba's like, all right. And you see him like writing down.
These are my terms.
Uh-huh. And he goes out to read them, and oh my god, he's basically saying like, we're not gonna like give in or anything until we're basically gonna come out and kill you.
The pike guy's like, read it, and the guy's like, my terms are nothing, just nothing, blank. We're gonna kick your butt. So yeah, that was hilarious. Yeah, that was really good.
So one of my favorite moments, I think, I have a lot of favorite moments, but the giant, I don't know what they're called, but those Scorpion Droids that come out that are shielded. I have no
idea what they're called.
Like, where the heck did they get those things, first of all?
And then, like, then they have shields.
Yeah.
On top of, and they're huge. Yes. I mean, they're gigantic.
So they come out and they're just, like, destroying everything, and Boba's like, all right, keep everybody safe, I'll be back. And we're like, where's he going? And then he comes back, and this was like something when we were talking before the episode. You were like, "What's something you really want to see?" And I'm like, "I want to see the Rancor come back." And he comes riding in on his Rancor. What did you nickname her?
Baby girl.
Baby girl. That's what we named her. I don't know if she has a name. But he comes in riding in on his Rancor, and she's just like smashing, swatting these things around.
She literally just backslapped one of the droids, and it fell into a building. Like that's all she had to do. And then she figures out that by putting enough pressure on it, you know, it's the shield is starting to fall apart, and it's starting to turn red, which means it's penetrable, right? And then that's when Mando comes in and gets in there.
Yeah. Darksaber in hand.
The Darksaber, which is pretty cool to see that back as well.
Yeah. No, it was just the whole sequence of everything, like all the fighting scenes and the all-out war was, there was one epic moment after the next, after the next, after the next. Yeah. And this whole time, like, Finnick has run off to try to find the head of the syndicate.
Time I'm expecting her to, like, pop her head up because I forgot that she went to deal with the upper
council,
upper
Pike,
people.
Pike council. And then when the mechanic comes in and Boba...
She has no... Somehow this woman has no idea that there is a friggin' rebellion war going on. She can't hear all the noises. And she's just, like... dropping in on this like 4-person carriage thing.
Being pulled by droids.
And then we see this like little like mound on the side, but I don't know if she brought the baby. And then she's like, guess who came to see you? Whoosh, baby.
And then Grogu and Mando get to see each other, and Grogu like has that heartwarming moment where he jumps to like give Din like the biggest hug.
And it was like he used the Force, and it was. I think the message for me was that he couldn't contain himself, so much so that he had to be close to him. Yeah. And that was adorable. Yeah. It was so cute to see him back. And Din's reaction too. He was like surprised and touched, and like his voice. I find it amazing how the guy acts so well with no facial access, like facial expressions. But he sounded incredibly thankful that he was there.
Yeah, and then when he sees him wearing a shirt, he's like, "You're wearing the shirt."
That's
like,
the shirt.
Yeah. And then they're reunited. You know, they're gonna be together. Yeah. Another thing I thought was really cool was seeing like, I know in the Star Wars like community, a lot of hate has been going on with I'm just gonna call them the modified, the teenagers,
the youths.
But seeing how they just united together with Boba and the town and with the people of Free People when they showed up to protect their home, was really cool. And seeing, I don't remember her name, but the woman that has the modified arm, like go up and she wants to like go and snipe from the rooftop, and like she's like, we're not gonna run, we're not backing off, we need to stand up and fight here. Like I know this town, and just seeing like that kind of community happen was really cool.
Yeah, that was cool. I like them, actually. I like them since the beginning. Because I think it really reflects reality, the reality of very young people, like people in their teens. The older generation, they always think, what are they doing?
Yeah.
What are they wearing?
What are they wearing?
What did they just say? Is that even a word? Is yeet a word?
Why would they put neon under their car?
Dictionary. Yeah, like there's always all these things, that older people are going to think and are going to see, because the new generation is always going to bring something that clashes. It's always going to be like this. So when I saw them with their neon bikes and their different looking clothes that are not necessarily Star Wars, I was like, oh, okay, so they're teenagers. Cool. Like that was my first reaction to it. Yeah.
They end up kicking butt.
Yeah, they do.
They win, like they retreat. Right at the end was like one of your favorite moments with Finnick.
Yeah, that was really cool. We see the syndicate and the mayor just kind of planning their escape and discussing some things in there. And there's probably like eight guys in there in this very small room. And then all of a sudden we just hear like something outside the door, like a and the guy's like, guards, and there were 2 guards outside the door. They're dead now. And then it's like they all get shot from nowhere. Nobody knows where they're getting shot from. A guy gets
hung like right in the middle of the room.
Yes, the mayor.
Yeah.
Which was insane. And then they're all dead, and the only guy standing is the Pike leader, I guess. He's kind of walking forward, and then we see him get stabbed from behind. And when he falls, you see Fennec. Like she's a friggin' ninja. She's awesome. She's a ninja. Yeah. She's a legitimate ninja.
Yeah, her whole thing's stealth. One of the coolest bounty hunters I think we've ever seen. Yeah.
So skilled.
Yeah.
My actual favorite moment, though, now I'm actually thinking about it, was after the Rancor gets rid of the droids and they have declared victory. The Rancor goes Rancor on everybody and everything, because she's afraid of all the noises and the explosions, and she's all worked up, and she starts going ballistic, and everybody starts shooting at her, right? And then he's got Mando like on the ground, ready to just squish him to death, and then out of nowhere we just see a little wobble. Grogu just coming out from like the ruins from a building. And he just uses the Force and calms her down to a slumber. And then he's so tired, he goes and cuddles next to her. Oh. After he pets her face, he's just like, "You're so pretty." And then he goes to take a nap with baby girl.
Seeing how like in tune and how strong with the Force he is really cool. And I can't wait to see this combination of the Mandalorian way and the Jedi or Force sensitive way kind of come together in Mandalorian season 3. It's gonna be awesome.
That's gonna be really cool. Yeah. I see now why they had to include so much of the Mandalorian in the book of Boba Fett, because they probably just needed to be able to start the next season of Mandalorian a certain way, and we needed to know the backstory behind that. And I was totally cool with that. So. Yeah.
So then right at the end of the episode, we see, which was super cool, Mando and his new decked out N1 Starfighter.
Favorite new
coolest ship ever. Grogu's hanging out in the droid cockpit back there.
With his little
knob from the Razor Crest, and he's tapping, right? And then Mando's like, no. Tap, 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 tap. No. Tap, 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 tap. All right, but this is the last time. And then he hits we'll call it the oh shit button, and like just zoops off, because it takes him to that fast speed that's not hyperspace, but in between. And Grogu's face of just pure joy was adorable.
It reminded me of the first time that Mando was carrying him and he takes off into the air, and it was that same kind of joy that he got out of that thrill. And it was just so cute, that relationship. Like, Daddy, please. Daddy, please. Daddy, please. And then he's like, okay, fine.
All right, son. But I thought that was also really cool, like, thinking about it, like, taking everything from the Boba Fett, and now we're entering and transitioning to the Mandalorian. Like, I thought that was kind of a cool way cinematically to express that.
Yes, absolutely.
And then we got a post-credit scene.
Yes, we did. Turns out, the Marshal ain't dead. See? In true Star Wars fashion.
Well, you just never know who's going to die. I mean, the sheriff can't go.
No, the sheriff's very important.
And then the modification guy's there too. So
Mm-hmm.
he's obviously got some work to do on the sheriff, but seems like he's going to play a role in whatever's going on in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, which is cool. I'm excited to see that. I like him as an actor and like his little role. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that'll be cool.
Yeah. So where do you think, like, it's definitely left open-ended. Do you think we're going to get another season of Book of Boba Fett? Do you think we're going to see Boba and, like, that crew show up in other things in the Star Wars universe? What's kind of your prediction?
I think that because they showed the sheriff at the end, that makes it feel like there may be a partnership brewing with Boba and the sheriff and the Free People. Maybe we might see that later. But I personally felt very satisfied with how everything wrapped up. And I didn't think that there were a ton of loose ends. Mm-hmm. So I just felt like, okay, so Boba is now the new guy in charge. And that's it, you know? That's how I felt about it. It wasn't at all like how Mandalorian Season 2 ended, where there was just so many unanswered questions. Yeah. So, yeah. What about you?
I think it could go either way. Definitely the door's open for them to have another season of Book of Boba Fett. Yeah. It wasn't listed like Kenobi is as a limited series, which makes me think there's going to be more. Mm-hmm. I do, however, think seeing Mandalorian crossover into Boba, we're going to see Boba crossover into probably Mandalorian in some ways.
Maybe, yeah.
But I don't know. I'm hoping we get another season of Boba. Mm-hmm. So let's kind of talk about our feeling of the whole series, like the whole season.
Okay.
So for me, the whole reason I really would love another like chapter or another season of Boba Fett is, as much as I love the Mandalorian episodes, like, I didn't like that Boba was taken away from me in those episodes. Like, because we got 2 full episodes where we didn't see Boba at all.
Yeah, basically.
And it was only a 7-chapter series. Mm-hmm. So I'd love to continue seeing more of maybe Mos Eisley and how they rebuild it and revamp it and the future of Tatooine. Because when we see Tatooine at any part of Star Wars, it's this like rundown place that's taken over by so much scum and villainy that it would be really cool to see it grow into a more unified city.
It would be kind of neat to see Book of Boba Fett Season 2 and for the opening episode to be like prosperous, clean-looking Tatooine. Mm-hmm. That would be kind of cool. Yeah. And then see what other shenanigans they get into. Apart from that, the rest of the show for me was very fulfilling. We saw a lot of Boba's past, you know, with the Tuskens, and I loved every second of that.
All those flashbacks
so awesome.
Episodes were amazing. As somebody who, and so many of you probably are as well, that loved Boba Fett, and we only had 5-6 minutes of screen time of him
until he died,
and like fell in love with the character, that it was amazing to see so much and just how he grew into the person he grew into. Like, he formed a family and compassion and love for other people. That's why, like, when Cad was talking to him and he's like, you've grown weak in your old age, and Boba goes, we all do. Yeah. And it was finding that like compassion and caring for somebody besides himself.
As a tie-in to the Tusken Raider thing, it was pretty cool that he beat Cad with a friggin' stick.
Yeah, with his weapon he built.
Tusken Raiders. Yeah. That was awesome. No blaster needed.
Yeah.
Or cannons or anything like that. Just a good old stick. Mm-hmm. I'm just keep calling it a stick.
Stick.
But seeing Boba, like, we saw a very young Boba in the Clone Wars, and he was just like a little you know. Mm-hmm. And he was so hellbent on revenge and on getting Mace back for killing his father. Yeah. And he was just running with a bunch of villains, you know, with Cad at some point. Yeah. They crossed paths and with Cad a bunch of other people hunters that left him behind anyway. And I guess he kind of figured, like, okay, well, I'm on my own. And it was really cool to see him change because someone treated him like Well, first like an animal, because they're Tusken Raiders, right?
Yeah.
And then like a person, because he proved himself, and he saved one of them from like a creature, an attack, and then when they come back from that little excursion, the Tusken's like, he saved my life. Like, he's cool, you know, and then they trained him, and they put a lizard in his head. Whatever. That's their thing, how they do things. But that was really cool to see all this change, because he really just feels like a caring guy now.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know how that was gonna go down somewhere like Tatooine.
Yeah.
I felt like you just have to be kind of a jerk to run Tatooine. But as it turns out, you just need a Rancor.
As a whole, like, I love the entire series. I think they did an amazing job with giving us, like we're talking about, that background of Boba, which we needed to see why he is like he is today and why he wants to run Tatooine how he is. Bringing in the kids too and giving them work, because they're basically stealing from town, and he's like, they can't, saying we don't have money, we can't find work, and he's like, well, come work for me. He's kind of just taking everybody in.
Teenager.
Yep.
Like, he has done that. So,
and it's just really awesome just seeing so many facets of like Star Wars come together. Yeah. And then the episodes we got, I mean, let's talk about the Luke episode just for a second, because it was so good. Like, first of all, the deepfake was amazing.
That new guy they hired, man,
they did such a good job.
It really worked out. It was way better than the end of Mandalorian. Yeah. Where you could really tell like the guy was fake. But here, like, if you weren't really looking for it, I feel like it could kind of fool you. I
mean, I feel like for us as current Star Wars fans, like, obviously we know that's not Mark Hamill, so we look for those imperfections. Yes. But if you were to introduce that episode to somebody who had never seen the original trilogy, they'd be like, oh my god, that's Luke Skywalker. They would never know.
Humans are experts at reading human faces. And so I feel like somewhere deep down there's always going to be like, huh. But he looked so good. He sounded great, in my opinion. And, you know, you could tell they kept him really low-key. Like, his expressions and his movements, everything was just really easygoing. Yeah. I loved his appearance. Not even,
because we had those, like, where he's carrying Grogu on his back, like, a la carrying Yoda around. That was and, like, he's doing flips and everything, and, like, it looked really good.
Yeah. But, that was really cool.
It was. That technology they've got, they're getting it down pat, and I can't wait to see, like, where it's going to go down the road. Like,
it's kind of scary.
And, like, I hope they never bring back to the point where it's a full film or anything.
I don't think they would do that.
No, but it's really cool, like how they did with Leia, like
and Tarkin.
Exactly, just to have those moments where it's pivotal to have that character in the role that you're able to bring them back now. It's really cool.
We needed to see Luke. Yeah. Luke had to be there. Yeah, it was cool to see R2.
Yeah,
and Ahsoka.
Ahsoka there was so cool, and those moments where she's like, "You're so much like your father." It's like, because it's just like heartwarming and sad all at the same time because of her relationship with Anakin. Yeah. But seeing Grogu train with with Luke was really cool and all of that, and it was just neat. They did a really good job. I'm so glad what a time to be like a Star Wars fan.
I know, it's crazy. There's just so much happening, so much that's good and fun, and I think a lot of our Star Wars dreams and fantasies are getting taken care of by these people that are so invested in Star Wars, like Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, and like they've got they're as much fans as we are. Yeah. And you can really feel that. So I'm excited for Obi coming soon.
Yep, we have Kenobi coming out. So many good shows. Andor is going to be coming out. There's already so many games and movies and comic crossovers and everything happening that no matter what genre you're in as a Star Wars fan, there's something for you, and it's not going anywhere, which is amazing. Yes. Like,
I hope that I'm like 60 and still seeing new stuff coming out. We will be. Like, that's what I want.
Oh yeah, it's gonna happen. Okay, real quick, favorite moment in Chapter 7.
Definitely when Grogu puts the Rancor to sleep, and then he walks up to him and just touches him like it's okay, just calm down, take a nap.
Yeah.
And that was awesome for me.
It was really awesome.
I have a soft spot for Force and animals, so
I love that. I think for me, just because of that anticipation moment, it was seeing that X-Wing come in.
Yeah.
And not knowing, like, kind of knowing it's Luke's, but not knowing if it's Luke's, and then seeing Grogu there and that he picked Mando was so touching for me, and I loved it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, guys, let us know what you thought of Chapter 7, or just all of the Book of Boba Fett. Did you love it?
What's your favorite moment?
Yeah.
Favorite characters? Your least favorite?
Yeah.
Just let us know what you think.
All those things. Let us know if you loved it. Let us know if you hated it, but be nice. All right, Falcon Squadron, thanks for hanging out with us. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. If you're into Star Wars, Lego, video gaming, tune in. We got a lot for you. And we'll see you guys next time.